Hi everyone! So this is my most poorly lit Instagram live that I've ever done. I usually do Instagram lives when I have a lot of natural light, but it's 5 p.m. and it's kind of blah. But I wanted to get on here and just share a couple ideas, a couple thoughts before the new year, since I've been really bad at showing up on Instagram live. But anyway, so I'm going to be talking all about how to thrive on Instagram in 2019. Hi, you guys. Wow, everybody's coming on. Maybe 5 p.m. is a good time, and we'll just have to deal with my poorly lit face. Actually, it's not that bad for the overhead lights. But anyway, so I wanted to share how to get really good traction on Instagram in 2019. I know a lot of us probably have a lot of big marketing goals, business goals, life goals in general for 2019. And I wanted to talk about some things that I noticed that really worked for me in 2018 and some things that I would recommend moving forward for you guys, and just kind of where I see Instagram and just marketing in general going into the new year. And obviously things change all the time, but this is this is the trend that I'm seeing. So my first tip would be to add in a lot more personality than you're probably used to into your Instagram, and I would recommend that in a number of different ways. So for one, I recommend getting better at storytelling, whether it's in this face-to-face situation with that conversation, or even just in your captions, trying to relate some stories and some things happening in your life and in your business back to your audience and your target market and things that they could relate to. So for example, I always recommend, if you're ever going to show up on Instagram, if you're going to take the time to write a caption, make it intentional, make it purposeful. Don't just post something for the sake of posting. I talk about this a lot where I don't recommend just taking a picture of your latte and being like, yay, brunch. Make it really intentional, because Instagram's algorithm really notices when people are engaging with your content. So pointing it back to your business is a really great way to allow your audience to get to know you and also trust you more, which is really important, especially in this digital age where a lot of times we don't come into contact with our customers or our clients that are hiring us for these really high package prices. So you really want to make that connection as much as possible. So for me, I like to get on Instagram and talk about my experience with Instagram, since that's what I am teaching, that's what my services are focused on, and that's what my course is focused on, and my in-person workshops. Everything's focused around utilizing Instagram for your business. So I like to talk about not just the success I have on Instagram, but also my struggles as well. So I talk a lot about, not a lot anymore, but I've mentioned quite a few times that I've really struggled with Instagram because I hate it, because I just hate showing up on Instagram. I despise the posts, I despise the scrolling, the lack of authenticity that I see. So I've shared my thoughts on that and my struggles with it, and then also how I've overcome that. And I noticed that my audience really resonates with that because they're struggling with the same thing. So I got better at storytelling by just sharing what is actually happening in my life and in my business as it relates to my audience. So I definitely recommend storytelling as much as possible. People love stories, and stories sell, so get in there. The other thing I recommend as it pertains to adding in more personality into your Instagram is to write your captions with your own brand voice and tone. So for me, that means writing as I would talk instead of just, I used to really struggle with caption writing because I would try to write in like a really professional manner and it would come out really robotic, because I'm like, hey, are you looking for information about Instagram? Check out my latest blog post, link in bio. And it was just like really lifeless. So now I try, and I'm not perfect at it, or I'm not perfect at any of these tips, but I try to be more intentional about being really speaking in an authentic way through captions, through writing. So I'll write exactly how I would say this sentence in person to my best friend. And you can hear more of my personality in my Instagram captions, because I'm really trying to fuse that all together. And the other way to add in personality in 2019 to your Instagram feed and your Instagram presence is to record videos with your voice. So You can take people around your studio. You can give them a tour. You can show an unboxing of your product or a new collection of whatever your business is. It doesn't necessarily have to be your face, but it can be your voice where you're talking and interacting that way. Because people get a really good feel for you. I've been told that because I do lives more, people can hear the way that I would speak through my captions because they're used to my voice. So I definitely recommend that. And then to add on to that, record videos with your face. That was something that I really had to get over in 2018. I never even did like recorded stories of me just talking with my face, let alone Instagram lives. That was terrifying for me. Webinars were terrifying for me. Anything with that live element where I'm speaking to you guys and it's recording and you can see if I mess up right away before I have time to delete it. That was horrifying. And then I got over it and I realized I loved it and I was somewhat consistently doing it every week. So I definitely recommend getting out there and getting your face, getting your presence, getting your personality onto Instagram as much as possible, especially if you're a service-based business. So I actually was talking about this with hopefully a client in 2019. Hi, Janelle, if you're watching this. We were talking about the difference between her business and my business, where if you're a product-based business, I don't necessarily think you need to show up the same way that I'm trying to show up in my business as a service provider, because our price points are different. People are booking me for $1,000 packages, where people that are purchasing smaller products for, maybe under $100, you don't need that same know, like, and trust factor as I do. Like, if people are going to hire me for this package having never met me before, they need to know me and they need to know how I teach, what my mannerisms are, what my thought process is, my teaching kind of methodology, like all of that. They need to know that before like giving that invoice or putting over that deposit. So while I do recommend trying out video, it's not necessarily as important if you're a service provider. If you're a service provider, show up on video. I highly recommend it. Your audience will thank you for it and they'll be more in tune with you. And I just noticed as soon as I started doing Instagram lives, probably back in May or June, everything just kind of changed from there because my audience really knew what I was all about. And I got to kind of learn what I was all about too by showing up consistently and teaching more. And my business is kind of based around teaching. So it was really, really nice. The other thing I recommend is to get on video, which I just talked about. Do more Instagram stories. Stories are obviously changing a lot, but show up on Instagram stories. I watch Instagram stories on my feed, like scrolling through Instagram stories, probably 5 times, 10 times more often than I actually scroll through a feed, because I love seeing that behind the scenes element. I love seeing what people are up to. I love watching videos over just those images with a long, really long caption. None of us read anymore. We don't have an attention span. But those 15-second video clips where you can be like, hey, this is a new thing that's happening in my store. Hey, these are our holiday hours. Or this is my new collection. Or this is what I'm up to this weekend. This is what my workshop looks like, etc. People love that way, way more than they love to scroll through Instagram. And that's a fact. I looked it up. I don't know what the stats are, but people love videos. And we've known that for a while. The other thing I recommend is getting into Instagram IGTV, which I have not done yet. I'm trying to keep this video short so I can actually upload it to IGTV. But it's 60 seconds to 10 minutes long, where Instagram stories are 15 seconds. Instagram post videos can be up to 60 seconds. IGTV is 60 seconds to 10 minutes. And it's a really cool way for these videos to live longer, where the live element, you can get this longer video and I can go up to 60 minutes, but it deletes after 24 hours. So then I upload it to Vimeo and then put it on my blog. And it's a lot more of a whole rigmarole, where if it's under 10 minutes, you can just save it on IGTV and have a whole channel, which is really cool. And it's something that I've been utilizing a ton for my clients, especially my Instagram management clients that are trying to grow their lists. So we upload all of their content to IGTV, where it can live longer, and then get people into their email opt-in. So definitely recommend checking that out and playing with it. Play with all of this and see what kind of sticks and what your audience really relates to and what they are engaging with. And then the other thing is trying out Instagram Lives. I know it's terrifying. I, for one, was not into the idea of Instagram Lives. I actually signed up for a program in 2018, and one of the things that the program mentor said was, you're going to be doing lives, you're going to be doing webinars. And I was like, cool, can I sign up for the program and not do any of that? And she was like, sure, but you're not going to see any results. You have to do the lives. So that was a really big thing for me to get over, and I love it. I love doing lives now. It's the thing that I look forward to the most in my business. It's definitely time consuming and it's definitely scary, but it's just all across the board such a win-win solution for everybody. You just really get that connection factor, and you get to showcase your expertise, which is really important, especially again as a service provider. And you just get more out of it as the videoer and the people that are watching as well. So if you're new to Instagram Lives, maybe start smaller, maybe not this face-to-face thing, but maybe things like a tour of your studio. So maybe the cameras turn around and you're just giving a tour of your workspace, or the supplies that you use to make X, Y, and Z, or what it looks like to craft this, or an unboxing. So starting lives in a less intense way. This is really intense for me to be I can see myself. I know you guys can see me. That face-to-face factor is pretty terrifying the first time around. So maybe starting with the screen turned around helps you kind of ease into it. Obviously, teaching is huge. Lives are a great way to teach. And then I have on my notes shares, and I don't remember what I meant. So shares, guys, whatever that means. So we've talked about 2 tips so far for how to thrive on Instagram in 2019. Tip number 1 was adding in your personality. Tip number 2 was trying out video, especially lives. Tip number 3 is to worry more about the value that you're putting on Instagram versus your frequency, which is kind of counterintuitive, especially because frequency is very, very important. And I've noticed that as I watch myself not being on Instagram as much. And then I show up on Instagram and my engagement's because Instagram's you haven't been on in a week. We're not going to show your stuff to anybody. But I still recommend it. I still recommend focusing more on value than on your frequency and your consistency. And this is why. And I tell my clients this as well. Don't post for the sake of posting. I already said this in the beginning of the video, but if you're just throwing something up because you're oh no, it's 4:00 and I need to get something up because that's what my schedule says, don't do it. This will actually hurt your algorithm if you're posting something and Instagram's nobody's engaging with this because it's boring, so we're just gonna not show it to anybody. And then the next time you show up with an actually good post, it's probably not gonna score as well because you've been consistently having crappy posts, for lack of a better word. So I definitely recommend focusing on the value of your feed and not so much the consistency and the frequency of which you're showing up. Obviously, both are important. I've talked about the Instagram algorithm in a past live, and it's on my blog if you're interested in that. It might have changed since then, but I would definitely check it out because the algorithm is looking at all these different factors. Frequency and consistency are part of it, but so is engagement with your audience. So definitely weigh the pros and cons, but I don't ever recommend posting for the sake of posting and just putting up a blah photo with a blah caption or no caption and just an emoji, because you're training your audience that's what you're going to show up as on Instagram with just kind of not very interesting posts. So I don't post if I don't have anything to say of value. So I definitely recommend that. And I think that's all that I have. If you guys have questions, let me know. You guys are all showing up live, which I love. I've had quite a few of you pop in and out. For those of you guys that are local or somewhat close to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I am hosting a workshop in person in January. It's my first workshop in 2019, obviously, and it's my first workshop in my new studio, so I'm really, really excited about that. For those of you guys that are looking for photos for Instagram and building up your photo bank, I've talked a lot about building up photo banks for Instagram. This will be really, really great because it's going to be a 2-part workshop. The first half of the workshop is going to be Instagram strategy. So we'll talk about your content topics, what you should actually be posting on Instagram, I'm going to keep it small, so there's only 20 seats available, so I can actually learn about your business and give recommendations. We'll have a lot of conversation and Q&A time, so I could actually give you like live feedback and not just speak at you in the same way. And we'll also create an editorial calendar where we can look at exactly how to fill out your calendar every month, and what you should be saying, again, without feeling like you're just being blah all the time. And then I'm also going to be talking about workflow and how to be more efficient and how to schedule out content without feeling like you're always on Instagram, spending all of your time focused on Instagram. Because, I mean, as business owners, we don't have time to be on Instagram 24/7. We have other things we've got to do. But Instagram's very important, and I highly recommend it. So that's the first half of the workshop. Megan says, thanks so much for these Insta tips. Absolutely. Thanks for watching, and thanks for showing up live. I love it. If you guys have more questions, let me know as I talk about my workshop. And then the second half of the workshop is going to be photo styling. So you'll have use of all of my furniture, everything's styled. If you haven't seen it, my studio is at Sovereign. It's set up like a really cute loft apartment. So there's tons of furniture, tons of decor, pillows, proppy things, notebooks, books, votives and vases, and I'm sure I'll have flowers that day and food that you can style. So it'll be a really fun thing where you can bring your own products if you have products that you want to photograph in a really cool way. If you have products that you want to photograph in a lifestyle setting, please come. You'll love it. You don't need a fancy camera. I'm not going to be teaching manual exposure or anything crazy like that. I'll be using my phone. You can come with your phone. You can come with your camera, whatever you want. So it's really laid back and it'll be a lot of fun. I did it last May. I can't believe it's been that long, but we had so much fun, and I realized like how important it is to have like all these props in one place. It's kind of what sparked the idea of the studio. So it's January 19th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at my studio at Sovereign in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. If you're not local, but you're like in Philly or Baltimore or New York City, or just nearby somewhere that has a train station, my studio is literally 2.5 seconds away from the train station. So super, super accessible. There's a parking lot if you are driving. It's awesome. The studio is awesome. I'm excited about it. And right now tickets are $197 during the pre-sale, and they go up to $247 on December 31st is the last day to get them for $197. And you can also just pay the deposit right now for $97 to save your spot, because there are limited seats, like I said. So you'll save $50 if you sign up now before they go up on December 31st. And you can sign up via the link in my bio. It's just called the Instagram Strategy Workshop. I didn't get fancy with the name this time. So Instagram strategy, photo styling, lots of cool people. There will be light refreshments, but no actual meals this time. Trying to keep it simple and keep costs down for everybody. So yeah, if you guys have questions, let me know. Let's see. Time is always a challenge. That is the truth. Do you have some tips to do live while cooking? One of the things that I have that has really helped is a tripod for my phone, which is what we're on right now. Other than that, tips while cooking. Do you have any specific questions? I think just getting the right angle would probably be really important. Definitely going over the ingredients. So maybe holding your phone, going through the ingredients that you have, going through if you have special tools or special cookware, and then setting your phone on the tripod. I have like a $15 cheapy tripod. I talk a lot about that in my, not a lot, but I mention it in my Instagram course. And then just, putting it on the tripod and kind of doing it like this, but maybe so you can see all the food. And maybe having a little bit further away. And you can get mics. So this is my mic that I use. If I didn't have this, it'd be really echoey because I have really high ceilings. But you can buy a phone mic that's Bluetooth. So you can like plug it into your phone, I think, and then have a little clip right here. That way, if you're a little bit further than your phone, you're not tethered to this. Or if you just have headphones that have a mic in them that are Bluetooth and not these Apple iPhones. But yeah, that would be really helpful to kind of get the right angle. Just get far enough away that people can see what you're doing. But yeah, that is everything, you guys. Also, it's my birthday, so I'm going to go because I'm going to go paint my nails and go to karaoke tonight. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have questions about the workshop or about Instagram or about 2019 or about digital marketing, because obviously I'm a big fan of all of the above. So yeah, I will see you guys hopefully soon. I'm going to try to be more consistent with Instagram lives. Obviously it's tough because the holidays have rocked my world, as did the studio, but yes, absolutely. Oh, thank you. Yes, feels good. But thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful day and weekend and new year. Bye.